Hi, FlossTube, I'm back. It's been several months since my last FlossTube update, and I did do a practice run a week or two ago, and that was FlossTube 28. I know a few of you watched it. Candy and Carolyn, you reached out to me, and then I shared it with a couple other people, but that was a flip through. I have to tell you, Carolyn makes flip throughs look so easy. And really, it was hard holding up the book. Maybe a magazine is easier, but I do have another book, at least one, that I'll flip through with you. It is a Joan Elliott, but I'm back. I'm ready. I've got tons of notes. So if you need a drink, go ahead and hit pause or speed, or go get a drink and get your stitching and sit on down with me and let's have a chat. Now, I did lose my stitchy bug for about 4 weeks, and my best friend was here from Virginia for 3 weeks, and I didn't get a lot of stitching done for about 6-7 weeks. But my heart was there. I was watching FlossTube, and I really started work, and that was taking all of my energy. Some of you may have heard of spoons. I heard about it last year at this time, but I'll tell you what, for 4 weeks, my cutlery drawer was empty. I had enough energy to work, and that was it. So now I'm back. I'm perkier, I have more energy, and I'm raring to go. So hello to all my new viewers. I did see at least 15 people subscribe while I was on hiatus, and I hope you find something here that you like. And to the rest of you, thank you for coming back. Thank you for encouraging me, and I missed you. I missed FlossTube, but today just feels so right to come, and have a little chat. This is my FlossTube number 29, and today is October 25th, 2021. We are 1 month away from Christmas, and I have to tell you a little secret. I was just listening to Carol of the Bells. It's one of my all-time favorite Christmas songs, and so I shut that down, and I'm joining you. Now, while my friend was here from Virginia, I flew to Missouri, and her favorite store is the Missouri Star Quilt Company. They have a city block of just shops for the Missouri Star Quilt Company, and it's spread into different locations throughout the block. And I don't have any haul to show you because this is more of a cross-stitching channel, but if you're interested, let me know, and at the end of my next FlossTube, I can stick it in, and I'd be more than glad to show you. Then, when we got closer to California, we ended up in Portland. Have you heard of that little shop, Acorns and Threads? I got to visit, and it was amazing. They just expanded, so lots of room, and I have to go back. I'm definitely going to go back for First Mondays. I think it's a Monday, but if I'm wrong, just shout at me. I won't know now, but I'll definitely know when you put comments below. I love Acorns and Threads. And I'm not going to show you, but I did purchase, no, I didn't purchase feathers there. They were out, but that had been my plan. So when I get to haul, I'll show you what I bought. Now, I'm excited to show you what I've been working on. And I thought I would start with this first piece because yesterday was the end of 24 hours of cross stitch, and I started this piece that I'm reaching for during the 24 hours of cross stitch, and that's the only time I've stitched on it. Now, I love this project, and I saw it upside down. I hope you love it as much as I do. It's on 28 count silver gold Lugana, um, silver gold Lugana from 123 stitch. And there's so much sparkle because I have sparkle in the fabric, and then there's sparkle in the Krynic up here as well, some in the ornaments down here. It looks fantastic. I love it. And I even thought of a way to finish this because I've always thought frame, frame, frame. I'm giving this to my mother. We don't exchange large Christmas gifts of large value, but this took a lot of time. And so if she wants it framed, I'll frame it for her birthday. But what I was thinking was, wouldn't this make a fantastic pillow to put out during the holidays? It's small enough that it would be amazing. So I'm going to give her that choice of a pillow or framing. And since we, like I said, since we don't give monetary gifts at Christmas, I will frame it for her birthday if that's what she wants. So that is what I've been doing for 24 hours of cross stitch. Jessie Marie brought it up. She said drunk. No, hungover, not drunk, hungover, a stitching hangover. And I knew exactly what she meant because typically on the 24 hours of cross stitch, Monday I don't want to stitch, Tuesday I don't want to stitch, and I've had enough. But I didn't feel that this week. And what I've decided is my life is a stitch when I want. I'm single. I do have to grade papers every once in a while, but the rest of my time is free time. So why try to cram 24 hours into a weekend when I can spend as much time as I want just stitching? So although I started this on a 24 hours of cross stitch, I am going to work on it for the rest of the week to get the beads and the French knots in. Because I actually lost a day. Saturday, I ended up frogging because the fur, the fuzz around the wrists, the neck, and the hat, I'd stitched in white. And I read the directions wrong. Those, I saw white, I saw blue for white beads, and it doesn't matter because I'm not going to explain it well anyways. So that's my joyful teddy. What do you think? Do you think that it would be great to make it as a pillow, or would it be too big as a pillow? I'd love to hear your thoughts because I know if I frame it, she wouldn't keep it up all year. So that is joyful? No. Jolly? Oh, maybe it's Joyful Teddy. Is it strange that I can't remember? Joyful Teddy by Joan Elliott. And 20 count fabric 2/1. So that is my first whip update. I'm not going to do these in order, and I will put previous pictures here. So since I may have missed already showing you for Joyful Teddy, I will stick one up maybe a little farther back. Now, I did join AB Singo Whip Magazine Monthly Cross Stitch Challenge run by Carolyn Zook and Robin Hall. They both have their own floss tubes, Bird Eye Stitcher for Robin and C Zook Stitch for Carolyn. You may have seen Carolyn on a recent episode with the Sunshine Stitchers. So what they did for Magazine Monthly Cross Stitch Challenge is they had us do bingo. And as you know, bingo has 25 squares. It's a 5x5 square. And the alphabet has 26 letters. So they took out an S, and then they wanted us to find whips that met the criteria that we could put for whatever. I'm very clear about that, aren't I? So let me show you. I did have this Haid, and I've stitched on it more than the Magazine Monthly Cross Stitch Challenge Bingo. In fact, it still has a needle in it. Oh, I'm such a heathen. And here's what it looks like. And I love it. You can see that I'm not doing diagonal stitching. I'm not doing parking, but those leaves and that moon, and you can see the spires starting to come out. One thing funny about this project is Mini Autumn Magic by Randall Spangler. What I put down was, R for roses. There have to be roses in the rose garden somewhere. And I didn't even take into account the artist's name. And so as I was stitching it, I'm like, well, there you go for R, Randall and Spangler. So I will put a picture here. I don't have a picture of what Mini Autumn Magic looks like, but I can pop one in at the beginning, and I'll pop one in over here. Oh, good grief. I'll pop one in over here of where I was at last time. I love this whip. So I worked on that 4 times. I gave up on my whip go, and I'll talk about that later, but I asked for some advice. I thought I could literally stitch 1 page a month on a Haid, and boy, was I mistaken, because that's 8,000 stitches, and I thought I could do other stitching as well. So I want to keep it in the rotation. I want to keep working on it, and I'll also show you Harry Potter next, because Harry Potter book covers is full coverage. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a Whipco board for my full coverages, such as Mini Autumn Magic and the book covers. The reason I'm going to do that is so I can have a reasonable number that I can finish on the weekend every weekend. And I like that idea. And Candy, the 614 Stitcher, is the one that suggested that. All right. As you can probably tell, I have my Harry Potter bag. So this is the Harry Potter book covers. And I worked on these 4 times. But Whipco called twice. I think that's gorgeous. And so it was called twice on Whipco, and I worked in the area right here to get the orange, and then you can see I moved over to green, and then during the during the ABC Singo, I was doing right here. I have not gotten any better at pointing where things are. So blue was more for the AB Singo. And I'm 30% done. I'm leaving Harry Potter without the colors. These are all fill-in, so I don't know why I'm waiting to fill it in. Maybe I'm just being goofy, but I really like the stitch. It's a nice stitch, and it is going to my godson. I first saw this when Erin Two Martini Stitcher was stitching it, and I really liked it, but I didn't have a purpose to stitch it. And then I found out my godson's favorite movie, or actually books, his favorite books are Harry Potter, and I didn't know that. Okay, so my next whip is Linen and Threads 2020 Mystery Sampler. And I haven't finished it yet. That's why it was on my board. And I put this on for 6 times. I want to get it correct for you. This is on 32 count Tyco 1/1. and I love it. You can see over here, this was what I was working on right here. I have to. So it took a lot of time, but I'm so happy with the way it's turning out. What I will tell you is 1/1 on 32 count is no joke, but I absolutely love it. Now, I do gasp when I see other people's work, and that's because I love it on 32 count 2/2 or 1/2. For me, I don't know why. When I started stitching this, I just felt that it was a 1/1 on 32. And I didn't like the fabric. It's Tyco by Picture This Plus. And the reason I don't like it or didn't like it, now I'm not, sure whether I like it or not. But to me, it looked like stained linen, like maybe a dog had gone to the bathroom on it. Isn't that gross? I'm so sorry. But to me, it felt like that, and it just looked stained. And I mean, yes, that's what we're doing when we're dyeing fabric, but this looked unsanitary, and it's all in my head, and I have to let that go. All right, now another fun one that I've been working on. Let's see if I can grab it. I wish I had a picture for you. So I'll put a picture in either here or here, wherever it pops up. This is an awesome stitch by Shannon Christine Designs. This is 36 count, no name, because it's a Be Stitch Me fabric. Ooh, I folded it so the outside was out. It was a Be Stitch Me fabric on a Friday night fight night that I purchased, but there was no name to it. And this is a wonderful house. It's Gingerbread Lighthouse by Shannon Christine Designs. You can find this on her website as a purchase, but I'm stitching it out of Readly because this is one of my magazine monthly challenge pieces. And so I can fill in the, I don't know what I want to say, people. When there are acronyms, I can fill those in as we go, and I can use that pattern. And they're not strict. They'll let me use whatever pattern I want. This piece is on XQ Design, and it's snagged. There we go. This is on My Little Dove, 32 count by XQ Designs. And again, I will put a picture up for you. I love that. I do. And I am stitching 1/2. I started this as a SAL for StitchCon. StitchCon A, Light the Way. Any of you can join in and start. What I'm thinking is maybe I need a new start because I'm so close to the border. I don't know what I could do here because I stitched so close. And it wasn't that I meant to stitch so close. I don't. I'm not trying to save fabric because it's a huge piece of fabric. I don't know. But I got this. This is 32 count My Little Dove by XQ Design. Can you figure out what letter I used this for? X. Because I didn't know where else to get an X from. And I'm like, well, XQ Design is actually pretty smart to use it. All right. Now I have One Nation, and this is a stitch for my dad. I do have a picture, maybe. You know, I'd love to say I was prepared, and I thought I would be, Crinkle, Crinkle. This is One Nation by Bygone Stitches. It's gorgeous. And I'm stitching this in hand. The same with the Gingerbread Lighthouse. I've been stitching in hand. But what I've been working on are the stars. And they're, oh my gosh, I'm so happy. When I was stitching this, I didn't know if the stars showed up enough. And I'm so happy that they do. I think I probably got 2 or 3 stars done from that time. Give me just a second to put this back in the bag. I try not to crinkle, but you know, sometimes it happens. Well, maybe it happens more often than not. And then I already showed you the Harry Potter book covers. That means there was one more that I had on there, and that was Coffee Break. And I worked on it 3 times. I'm not ready to show that. Well, I'm not ready to show that. So if you give me a few minutes, I'll show that later. So that was my whip go. No, I'm sorry. That was my September AB Singo. And the entire time that I was doing the AB Singo, if that's what it is, I loved it. I enjoyed it. But I kept thinking in the back of my mind, I want to work on Sampler September. I could have, but once I pick up a piece to work on it, I never actually put it down again. In fact, if I put it down, I would pick it up the next day to continue working on it. So when I finished AB Singo, I pulled out Greyfriars Sampler. There we go. Such a gorgeous pattern by Rosewood Designs. And I bought this in 2020 in May, because Tranquil Stitches was doing a stash dive trying to figure out what she would do for Mania that year. And I saw her pattern and I gasped. She didn't choose it. I'm leaving this in the Q-snap. I apologize, but it's in a perfect position. And this is part of my Whipco board. The first section, or the first time it was on my Whipco board, I wanted to finish all the flowers. And then the next time it was called, I wanted to finish the alphabet. I finished both. I'm almost done with the border, the basket, and there are a couple birds that go right here. And if you look in here, I've stitched the large or the dark stitches, and in the open area are going to be eyelet stitches. I found a way to get, I found a way to work the border without making too many mistakes. And I just kept I had 3 needles with the 3 colors, and I kept working on them simultaneously. I didn't end the section, or I didn't tie off the needle. And so it really doesn't make a bad back. And I just tucked the thread so that it wouldn't show. And I am so happy with this. Someone asked the other day who stitches in the well. I stitch in the ditch because it makes it easier to pull the thread through. And someone mentioned yesterday on Twitch, either Saturday or Sunday on Twitch, that it's great if you play thread chicken. I don't like playing thread chicken. I don't have time for that. But if, as you know, it happens every once in a while. And we all want to beat thread chicken. So I was going to leave this to start or restarts. This is Reaper Love. Let me pull out the pattern. Reaper Love by Silver Creek Samplings. I love you to death. And this is where it was at last time. That looks like the back. 36 count, 1/1, I think. This is scrap fabric, but I know it fit. And then I ordered something from Fire Poppies. I bought a Lowry frame. Oh, but I bought the Lowry frame from Lovecrafts. Lovecrafts always has a 20 or 30% off coupon. And I bought the basic color, the standard color. Would I have liked another color, bright, turquoise, pink? Oh, I love those colors. Yellow. But I wasn't going to pay $50 more for it. And so with the discount through Lovecraft, I think I only paid $110 for the Lowry stand. I know I'm off topic, or maybe not off topic, but I veered a little bit. With Lovecrafts, I also bought this, and it's an extension. It's for the Lowry stand, and it's to hold paper patterns so that you can see them. Now, that was all that Lovecrafts had, and I was super happy with that. I've been watching a lot of FlossTube, and I've always heard that you want the Q-snap extension, and I knew Fire Poppies had that. So I went over to Fire Poppies, and I was putting in my order because I knew it would take forever, because people tell us that there's a long wait list for these. Well, they had them in stock. I just got so lucky. And I have a full set for my Lowry stand. And I also bought an extension bar, which is larger, and the arm, you can sit in the middle of the couch and it can still swing towards you. In fact, I've been using this on the Lowry stand, and it works beautifully. And you can see how long it is. So I love it. I was a one-handed stitcher holding the frame, but now I'm a double-handed stitcher, and it goes so much more quickly. I was watching a FlossTuber the other day. Darling Bluebell. I love her channel, so I went back and I started watching from FlossTube 1, and now I'm at 24 and I need to get to 36. But she showed how to use the double-pointed needles, and I may give those a chance because you're not flipping the needle and you're not twisting the thread. And she said the fabric lays much nicer. So all of that to say, I went to Fire Poppies, not in person, and I have a new start because Reaper Love, what better fabric to put Reaper Love on than Jody Blood Spatter fabric? Is that not phenomenal? This is 28 count Blood Spatter fabric from Fire Poppies, but dyed by Jody of the Steel City Stitchers. And now I want to show you, because I am stitching 28 count 1/1. And there's going to be some blood spatter in it. I absolutely love it. Love it, love it, love it. And I'm sending this to a dear friend of mine. It is tiny, right? But that's because I'm stitching 28/1 and one thread, 28/1. And it's going to be small. And I'm okay with that. And it's not because I don't know. That was just what I had wanted to do. I don't think this needs to be a huge project. So I'm not going to put it on a lot of fabric. But then I'll have leftover fabric for more Jody. All right. So why I have a pile of whips over here that I'm expecting to fall anytime. So I'm going to actually move it. Fingers crossed I'll be able to do this. Cross your fingers, unless you're stitching. All right, it all went back into the box beautifully. Great. So I did not share with you, now I have to reach though. I did not share with you Coffee Break. And that's because Coffee Break belongs in its own section now. And Coffee Break belongs in Finishes. Here is Coffee Break. Let me get that up too. I love this. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's my most favorite stitch. And this is me in a cross stitch pattern. Let me show you what it looks. Oh no, I may not have it over here. I didn't bring it over, I don't think. There it is. Yay. I have piles of stuff all around me because it's just been that long since I've had a FlossTube update. So, let's see. Here we go. I don't have a picture of Coffee Break, but I'll put the cover right here. And you can see and you can compare why why I'm so pleased with this compared to what the cover art showed. This is Coffee Break. I stitched it 2/1 on 25 count Lagana. And I will frame this, and it's going to go to work, and it's going to have a place of honor near my Keurig machine. I've already given away the pattern. Well, the person who's receiving the pattern knows that they're getting it, but you can get this on Amazon. And I'll put down here the name of the Design Works, but I'll still put Design Works down here. And it's a kit. So you'll get the fabric, the chart, and the threads. And I had all of that because I just bought, I used my own fabric that I had in my stash, and I used DMC. Now, if you want my colors for this, I will probably do a 10-minute video separately. So just talking about this. And I'm going to wait until it's framed and I'll show all parts of it. So that was super exciting. I was so thrilled with how it came out. I have 2 new starts. And I have the hashtag, and I hope you might use it, Java365Sal. And my goal is to always have a coffee pattern going. And so I purchased this from Owl Forest because I wanted to know how well I wanted to see if I liked the threads and reading the pattern. You can see I got quite a ways on the border, and it's really hard to see down here because I'm stitching in ecru, and these are vanilla beans, so this one's looking better because it has one of the browns, but I'll get those in soon. I love the pattern. I would buy another owl forest, and look at these threads. Look at how gorgeous they are. I'm unhappy with how short I did the accrue, and I didn't know how short it would be, but I did know I would need short for silks, and I'll show you my silk in a few minutes. I bought these thread winders. I bought the short and the medium. And the medium, because I've always wound it around my arm, I thought this would be a perfect fit because I love this length. This length I knew would be good for shorter lengths for silks so that they don't get chaffed. And this is R&R Woodworks in Kentucky. And I'll put it right down here for you across the screen. The 9-inch is white, green, it's poplar, white, green, brown. And this 12-inch is cherry. So I love those. And I love the floss from Owl Forest. So I would definitely buy their patterns again, which is a good thing because I have more over there in my stash. And you get these bobbins from them, but I don't bobbinate, so I just punched a hole at the bottom, and I'm using the bobbins as floss drops. And I thought that would be cool. Now, the fabric is Bee Stitch Me 25 count Lugana in hibiscus. I was in Brandy's club for a while. And I can't believe I didn't show you the pattern. The pattern is fabulous. I love stitching from it. I'm going to tell you, I think I'm more of a PDF stitcher, but I ordered paper. And it's an easy to read chart. But what I did, instead of making photocopies of the chart, I went ahead and took a picture of it and stitched from that picture. And I'm so happy I did. Now, I have one more new start because you already saw the restart that I did. The Village of Hawk Run Hollow. That's my sad trumpet sound. Please forgive me. Please. I know it's shiny, but which Hawk Run Hollow are you stitching? Because I know so many people stitch it. Carolyn Zook has a Friends of Hawk Run Hollow page, and my friend Pam, Stitching in the Land of Good Enough, she has a FlossTube meetup. Not a FlossTube meetup, a Zoom meetup twice a month on the first and I think it's the second and the fourth Thursday. And you can find her Stitching in the Land of Good Enough. Let me fold this over since I didn't bring a cardboard with me, so you can see how much I finished. And there you go. What I do for the border, I stitch it with a tint stitch until I make sure everything is stitched correctly. Then I can go back through it and give it that final X. So here's my problem. I did the X's in reverse. So usually I start in the bottom right, top and to the top left, and that's always my first leg. And I'm so used to that, but I'm stitching this in hand, and I found that I did the borders the opposite, where I did bottom left to upper right. And I'm finding I messed that up. So I'm trying to decide before I get much farther do I leave it or do I start over? Because I fear that if I start over, no, I fear that if I don't start over, I'm going to be so, this is the fabric. I feel that if I don't start over, I'll be frogging quite a bit to get it to all lay in the same direction. And I don't know that that's necessary. Maybe I do one block where it's going this way and I do all the other blocks. I don't really think it's going to make too much difference. Have you done that? Have you changed the directions of your stitches? And I try not to, but maybe because they're in their own panels, it won't matter. That's what I'm hoping. All right. So if I look at my chart, I've talked about everything on the first page. So let me talk a little bit about Fire Poppies, because I ordered the blood spatter from Fire Poppies, and I really like how quick they are for shipping. I needed Q snaps, and I ordered Q snaps, and they got here like 2 days. I got a 36 count blood spatter from Fire Poppies, and I bought Aurora from Mystic Fiber Arts. I bought a half yard of this because I thought I would use, I thought I might use this for Hawker and Hollow for the Zoom meetup. And I'd asked, and we all voted on the gray, which was actually very helpful. So I bought that. I bought, this is Color and Cotton to add to my stash. Then I bought 2 charts. And I have so many, I don't know, I did something. I bought a pack for $15 of 53 count linen. And these are all small squares. I think there's 6 of them. I can't see even with the magnifier. But I listened to 2 Tarts and their starts, or is it 2 Tarts and their charts? Carolyn and Jean from the Attic, and they said that if you can stitch on 40, you can stitch on 46 and higher. And I tried. Well, I haven't tried. I saw this Biscorn U. Loved it. Of course, I had to have it. And Bristol Berries. So now that I brought up the Attic, I'm really excited. I called them last week and placed an order. In the last or latest 2 Tarts in their charts, FlossTube, they showed a lot of patterns. And one of the patterns was Gather Ye Pumpkins by Little House Needleworks. And I just love it. If I can, I'll pop in a picture. I'm sure I can. But I asked them to convert the hand-dyed cottons into 103 silk. And so I'm looking forward to that. And the Gather Ye Pumpkins is stitched on like a 30 count linen. I asked them, once they converted the colors to the 103 silk, to choose a fabric in 40 count. And they're going to do that for me. And I'm so excited to be able to do that. So now I just wait. And I heard what Miss Flossie is, she has a YouTube channel too. They're busy right now. They don't have time, but I told her I wasn't in a hurry because I don't know when I'll start it. You know how we buy and buy and buy, and we have no plan to start it. We just need it in our hot little hands. Well, that's how I felt. So, Black Sampler November is, and I don't know the hashtag, it might just be Black Sampler November, is the brainchild of Jacob at Modern Folk Embroidery. Now, I'm going to participate, but I have to have a new start. And I had black sulky thread because I wanted to see how sulky stitches. And I'm going to stitch Ye Old Crow Sampler. So I guess I've moved to plans, haven't I? Ye Old Crow Sampler. So I'm going to stitch this. And I was wondering what your plans were if you have a black sampler that you're going to stitch. If you don't, but you're interested, Stacy of Stitching 911, she did a FlossTube update where she just dedicated the episode to charts that would look fantastic in black. So, I mean, look, I don't know that I would turn the Redbird sampler into, because it's Redbird, I don't know if I would turn this one into black, but there's no reason why you couldn't. And there are also freebie samplers. And I have the coffee, my birthstone is the coffee bean. I have that sampler. But there are so many samplers that I'm sure we already have in our stash where we can stitch it in black. So let me know below what sampler you're going to use. And I'm going to watch Stacy's video again because ultimately there is another sampler she showed that I own, and I knew I could work on that, and maybe I'll have 2 new starts instead of 1. All right. So I kind of started mentioning my plans. I also bought Bewitching cross stitch. And I'm going to do a flip through of this book. And as you can see down here by my fingers, it is another Joan Elliott. I'm not a big Joan Elliott fan. I mean, I love her patterns. I'm working on Joyful Teddy. That's what it's called, Joyful Teddy. And these I just got on Amazon used at a really good price. So I know a lot of people like her dragons, so I'll definitely do a flip through of this one. So that's in the works or in the plans as well. I am going to start Pandemic by Long Dog Sampler, and I had this fabric chosen first. It is Mystic by Picture This Plus. 28 count. That is a really good representation of how dark the blue is, and I love it. So then I told Ymir that I wanted some floss. I wanted a single color floss. She dyes silk, Almond M&M silk. I asked her, I said, will you dye me some silk that would look good on this? And I told her I didn't care what color it was. And she said yes. And she sent me 3 samples. And I chose the sample I liked the most because they're all gorgeous. And when she showed me pictures of the first 2 colors, I actually changed my mind because she sent me, she showed me a picture of a yellow and a blue. And I love yellow and blue together, but I didn't know if I wanted a full yellow, and I didn't know if I wanted a full blue on blue. So I asked her if she would variegate some blue, yellow, and cream for me, and she did. And she named it Forget Me Not. And oh, wow, look at that blue. Isn't that gorgeous? I'm going to bring it right there. Forget Me Not by Almond M&Ms. And I'm so excited. I wanted to start, I'll take it out of the hank for you. I've wanted to start putting this into smaller skeins, but look at that. Oh my gosh. Ymir, are you seeing this? Oh, Ymir, you done good. This is going to be gorgeous together. This is the first time I've laid it out like this. And it was one of the reasons I bought these in the smaller size so that I could start putting these in skeins. The problem is I knew I hadn't filmed yet. Wow. I knew I hadn't filmed yet. And my hands have been dry because of the change in the weather. And I don't want to snag this glorious silk. So this is my pandemic, and it's going to be my New Year's start. I'm so excited about that. I can't wait. But while I wait, I'll start putting the skein into skeins. Oh, this skein. This is not a skein. Sorry. It seems like I forget all of the jargon for cross stitching. So when I'm filming, I did more shopping and I found this beauty on Amazon. Look at her. She is gorgeous. I can't wait to start her. Turn her a little bit. The fabric is colored. It's the gold and the cream near her, so I won't be stitching the background. But look at these other options down here. There's so many to choose from, and you can see the richness of the colors and how beautiful they are. I had a problem though. Let's see. Oh, this is clearly Linarte or Linarte. I've been wanting to stitch this pattern forever, and I saw it on Amazon, but I have never seen a dimensions pattern in this packaging. So I'm not sure if this is actually dimensions or if it's one of those companies that steal another person's artwork. I did, Dimensions is owned by Simplicity, so I did send an email and I sent them a picture of this and I said, is this packaging or is this someone else trying to pretend to be? And I'm still waiting on their answer, but maybe have you seen Dimensions in this type of packaging? I mean, it could be legitimate, but I don't know that it is. I thought I could use Midnight Ride for the sampler. Well, it's not going to show up. I thought I could also use Midnight Ride for Black Sampler November, but if you look around the head and the scarf, there is some red in it, cherry cobbler. So, I don't know. Jacob isn't a modern folk embroidery. He's not going to be the, police and say, no, you can't do that. He's just putting this out there. Hey, are you interested? And it's something we can all do together. And bring what you think, bring what's appropriate to you. I couldn't go to Acorns and Threads without purchasing their 25-year bag. And they just have their gathering of nuts, and the designers, once again, they designed a pattern specifically for their 25-year or Acorns 25-year anniversary. But when I went, I too asked for, well, I'm going to take it out of the bag, although it looks like they've sealed it. Nope, there it is. This is an exclusive pattern to Acorns and Threads by Plum Street Sampler, and I knew that they had these, and good company, and they have a display near the cash register of all of their exclusive designs. And I wanted something exclusive because I don't make it there. But as I told you earlier, I'm definitely going to go back. It's on my list. I'm spoiled. I have 3 LNSs near me, and I guess I'm just spoiled. I bought a corner gauge that says Acorns and Threads. This is what I needed for the Barbara Anna Light pattern. And then I bought some linens. So Belfast linen and Whisper 32. I think that is that's spot on. And I like the gray. So I bought that. I didn't have this, and this is 32 count khaki with white dots. Oh yeah, that's perfect. 32 count Belfast linen with white dots, khaki with white dots. And this is Barnyard Check Lugana, 32 count. That's a perfect color. I think I finally got the colors down to be able to show them. And I didn't need, well, do we need anything? I bought a hands-on design block, and it's a block pattern, and it called for the chocolate raspberry. And I've always been nervous that I didn't get enough, and they just happened to have this chocolate. No, this is more the color like that. They just happened to have a small piece of chocolate raspberry. And what I liked is their fabric was already cut and laid out, and you could take what you wanted. And I'm sure they would also, of course, custom cut if you needed it. But my friend and her son were waiting in the car, and so I didn't get a chance to spend a lot of time in there. But the time that I did get to spend was fabulous. And if you get a chance to go to Fire Poppies, go to Fire Poppies too. They're fabulous. But if you get a chance to go to Acorns and Threads, definitely make that journey. So, ladies and gentlemen, I've said all there is to say. And I'm sure as I turn it off, it's going to remind me that I missed something. But I want to wish you happy stitching. Take every stitch, one stitch at a time. And every stitch you do make is one stitch closer to an FFO. Thank you, and have a nice week.